I'm Anna Nimura of CryptoChicks, and we are at the Blockchain Futurist conference, and I have a pleasure to talk to Charlene Cieslik of Coinsquare. Welcome.
Thank you. You're the only person to get my name completely accurate, my last name.
Well, that's the bonus for me.
Yes.
Well, you are a compliance officer at Coinsquare, and you have a very extensive compliance experience, and you are very outspoken about many things, and this is what I like, and we are both very much keen on self-governance and transparency when it comes to the companies. But now there's a little bit different ballgame. We're dealing with blockchain and cryptocurrency companies, so from that perspective, what are the struggles of the regulators and compliance officers in this new ecosystem?
Sure. I hope you don't mind. I made some notes just so I could make sure I hit some key points.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of the struggle comes from the lack of clarity around virtual currency, what is cryptocurrency, what different regulators are classifying it as. We know in the US they've got 4 separate different competing definitions. Canada is sort of edging on to that as the new draft laws have come out defining virtual currency basically in opposition to fiat currency. And that's only on the money services side, on the FinTrack anti-money laundering side. But now, we've got this central securities agency and the provincial regulators looking at ICOs and token offerings as a different thing. So, it doesn't have to be one thing, but it has to be clear about what it is when. And regulators just don't move as quickly as innovation does. And with the impact of globalization, like the whole decentralization is that it allows it to be a borderless marketplace. And regulations are born upon physical location, not product usually. So having this global approach, which doesn't exist really on any type of financial product right now, I don't think we're going to be able to have that for digital currency, and I don't think that we should hold our breaths for it. But I mean, it is a big sort of chunk to bite off for regulators. It's because it's so new and it's such a new space, even for the people working in it.
Yes, well, that's
like
true.
Me.
Well, that's true. Every day we facing the challenge, and as a matter of fact, every single month there is something new in the blockchain space. So it's very difficult actually to define for the regulators what they should be, where they should be. And Katie Hone from Anderson Horowitz actually mentioned that it's good that the regulators didn't do anything last year, because that would be outdated this year.
Exactly.
And we can actually see what is happening. Last year was more like of the hype, the excitement. Right now the air is cooling down, and everybody looks like, okay, what is the underlying security? Is it really a value in the company which you are delivering? And are you seriously thinking about, tokenization, or like if you don't really have something? So it's not about getting tokens for the idea, but rather getting tokens, if anything, based on the product. So where are we heading with that? So do you think that the education is really the key? Is it the key for the investors? Is it the key for the ones who want to be the entrepreneurs as well?
I think education is the key for everybody. Certainly we could all benefit from more learning. But I do think, like you said, there was this sort of feverish pace of everything on the blockchain and everything needing to be tokenized. I think now, as regulators wade into it, and as people maybe have that cooling off a little bit, and with the price of coins, not being favorable at the moment, is making people maybe step back and say, is this something that really requires a token? Is this something that really requires a blockchain? Maybe you just need a database. And so a lot of that is, maybe given some time for some self-reflection.
Yes. So, of course, people are speculating, and they're saying the cryptocurrencies are going to take over the world. But at the same time, well, it's not going to be just one universal currency, because there are so many of them. But do you think that rather like cryptocurrencies will become asset class, like investment asset class?
Well, that's a tough one to answer, because I think, the SEC in the US has made some pretty strong statements about not creating something special or new to regulate, cryptocurrencies, and that they have an existing framework that works very well, and they're going to continue to do what they know how to do best. So I don't think, at least at the legal level, there's, an appetite to develop a hybrid or something new. I do think that the blockchain companies and companies like Coinsquare and others that are working working to advocate for their space with the government can help promote some of that thinking towards something a little bit more innovative, because it's not sufficient at this point to try to put new wine in old bottles, as my favorite expression in this space is. Like, you need a new bottle. Even if it's still a bottle, you still need a new bottle.
Right. So we can say that right now we kind of redefining the future. It's not just the excitement and everything what we like or we think it might be good, but rather that we're looking at, as I'm saying, and I can see the trend for this conference, the virtues, the values, and also the ethics.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I think the future is here. We're at the Blockchain Futurist Conference. I think there's a lot of hope and a lot of young, smart people and good companies that want to see a change and aren't satisfied with some of the traditional methods of finance and the lack of access that they've had to wealth overall. And this gives a more democratic opportunity, I think. And while I think like the internet.com boom and bust, we might see some people fall off, but I think we'll see some cream rise to the top, and we know that blockchain isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
So your last word of advice for the companies which are coming into this ecosystem?
Last words of advice. Oh boy, I have so many words. I would really say, if you want to be around for the long term, do your research and hire the qualified, experienced people in the key positions that are needed to ensure that you're not at risk for breaking laws in whatever country you're operating in, servicing in. And even if the laws apply to you, there's a lot of blockchain things that these AML and KYC and securities laws may not even have any application for. And I think the government's making room for that. You need to know that. Make sure you know that. Educate yourself. Rely on some experts, some people that have been there and done that. They can help you get to that next level.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Anne.
Really pleasure. And we'll talk in the future, and we'll find out what the future is going to bring to us and what are the differences between now and the next
couple years from now.
Yes, couple of years, maybe even couple of months.
All right, now,
thank you so much,
it's time
Charlene.
for a drink.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.